Yesterday we talked about PARNR, that is roles and responsibility. Now, all our sessions, like if I talk about phase one, which is about get an understanding of BA's analysis fundamental. So we will be learning it in a story form. Story as in general stories, not the user stories. And then it will flow like a story. So we started with role of a BA. Now we want to understand BA will be performing its activities in or where he will be performing these activities. What is the role of a BA? Where he will be performing these roles. So he will be performing all of these roles or responsibilities and activities in a project. First, we got an understanding of roles and responsibilities. Now we want to know where he will be applying all of these responsibilities, or what responsibilities, what activities, what role he will be playing in a project. So let's understand project. So today we will be learning about project lifecycle and SDLs. Now, before I move forward about project and SDLC, let's break these down. First, we'll discuss about project, then we'll discuss about life cycle, and then we'll discuss about SDLs. So project will be any assignment. It can be any work. It can be any task that you will be performing when you will join a company that will be revolving around ServiceNow. So as in means ServiceNow. Let me mark it here. So I will be performing some task, maybe some work or some assignment related to ServiceNow, which will be known as my project. So whatever task I will be performing or whatever work I'm doing, all of these will have a start point. As in, I will start working on it. There will be phases around it, like phase one, phase two, or phase three, or maybe four, five, six. It depends on how many stages we have in this task. Now, first there will be starting point, then we'll move to the different phases, and then it will be ending at a point. So start to end is known as a life cycle of any of this item. Today we are learning that this item is related to assignment, work, task. This life cycle word will be used more often in service now, and you will know about it soon. So for now, project is something which is given to me or given to us as an assignment, work, or task. Every assignment, work, or task will have a starting point, will have an end point, and in between there will be phases. If I take a layman example, we are doing this training. So we had first a marketing session, or I will call as info session, wherein we were telling about our services, what we will provide, and if you have any questions, you were asking those questions. Then we started our training, mentioning our phase one, phase two, phase three. And then at the end, we will complete our training. So for me, this training is a work, is an assignment, and it has a starting and end point. So that becomes a life cycle of the training. SDLC is this term is more related to an IT project, or in short, I can call it the full form of SDLC is software development lifecycle. We are bringing or we are working or we are developing some softwares. We are developing complete software, a part of software, or we are trying to add some functionalities into a software. All of them will be included in SDLs. So today we will be learning about all of these things because Whatever we discussed in the first class will be applied here. So let's go back to, so project lifecycle in SDLC and how a BA fits in. What BA will be doing in a project. Let's come to the first part. What is the project lifecycle? Every project follows a structured path from start to completion. It defines how a project is planned, executed, monitored, and closed. For a business analyst, you need to understand life cycle ensures proper alignment and timing for deliverables. So as a BA, my most important responsibilities in any of the assignment, any of the work or any of the project is to understand what are my deliverables. As I mentioned that suppose I am part of an implementation team. Implementation team means whoever is going to implement ServiceNow. So in my team, I will have a BA, there will be a project manager, there will be developers, there will be testers, and there will be an architect. Usually you will have minimum, you will have these members in your implementation team. So very first thing that all of them need to understand is what are their deliverables. BA will be dealing more about requirement gathering, BRD, FRD, documentation, all of those things. Project manager will look at the timelines, making sure we have right uh, stakeholders, right resources, and the projects delivered on time, risk, all of these will be covered by PA. I'll cover all of these things in upcoming classes, but just giving you a snip. Developers' responsibilities is to create a working product. Testers' responsibility is to validate whether the product is matching with the requirement of the project. Architect will be looking at from technical point of view whether uh, like deciding the architecture of this project, deciding the architecture of the software. So that's the responsibility. Now all of them needs to understand what are their deliverables. So similarly, BA will also make BA will also understand and check the expectations that the project is having from the stakeholders are having from this project, right? So the typical phases that you will see in a project are these: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closure. So if I come here, initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closure. So what is happening in all of these phases? We will learn today. Now, as I mentioned that all of this ServiceNow implementation that you're going to see in future, understand that it is moving like a storyboard. Storyboard is somewhere that I'll have a board wherein I can define all of my work. And we will learn how a storyboard looks like soon. If I move to the next part, see, this is how we will understand the different phases. First, if I talk about initiation, initiation phase is wherein we want to understand what are the goals of a project, what are the objectives of the project. Like you want to understand the scope, understand the different stakeholders. So your responsibilities would be as a BA is to identify these things. For example, background. Suppose you're working on an ITSM project or an HRSD project. So you need to understand, you need to gather as much information as you can from this project. So the initiation phase is when you want to gather as much information as you can. That what is it that you're going to do? Or basically it answers your question of what, right? Then comes the planning phase. Planning phase is when you will start whatever we have discussed in the initiation phase, that we are going to have goals, we are having objectives, we are having scope. Or maybe here you will also understand the challenges. Then you will start planning how you're going to deliver it, right? Maybe a plan on a paper. This is what usually happens, right? That first we'll have, suppose, even if you want to buy a car, first thing is you need to understand what is it that you are expecting from that car. It's a four-seater, or you want six-seater, you want some different functionalities. So first you need to understand the objective. Then you will start understanding the planning. Okay, we'll have these options. Let's see which one will work well. So same thing happens here. So you will start documenting requirements, you prepare BRD, align with the project goals. So whatever we have discussed, like all of the requirements that you have gathered in the planning phase, you will put all of those initiation onto the paper, or I'll call it onto some deliverables, some wherein you can call it them as uh, evidence. Suppose you will create document, you will have process diagrams, you will have stories, right? So all of them will be created. So this becomes a reference document. These reference documents will be signed off, they will be approved, and all the feedback that will be provided on this document will be incorporated. Once I have so for me, this becomes a source of truth. Remember this word, source of truth. Source of truth means from here onwards, whatever steps or whatever phases I will be into, I'll have something for my reference, which is signed off, which is approved by my client. And I can refer to it and I can start working on something. Understand, for a developer to start creating something, first we need to feed him or her that this is what we need to create, this is what we need to develop. For for all the information that we will be feeding him, first we need to collect that information, then we will be documenting that information. So that information becomes a source of truth for developer. In the execution phase, we work on validating configurations, support dev, QA. Here we start our work. So in execution, all of the work that we have, we'll start delivering it. So developer will start the development work, and once development is done, I'll have testers who will do the validation. So both of them will take my previous documents as source of truth. Development will know this is what we need to develop, and testers will check whatever has been mentioned in the document. It is have the developers developed the same things or not. So that is the part of, or that is the responsibilities of testers. So this is what we'll do in execution. Maybe here we'll also do the bug finding, as in if there is some defect in the product that will be captured and it will be solved. That is first level when we'll start validation. Then comes our monitoring and control, or I'll call it MLC. In MLC, what we'll do, we'll track the progress, manage scope changes. So once we have developed all of these things, we have tested it, then we'll take it to the customer that we have a working product. Now, when we'll take our product to the customer, remember, most of the time, first cut is not the final product. First cut means the first draft that I'm taking or the first working product that I'm taking. Usually, if you are complying to all of the ask, When I'm complying to all of the asks that has been given to me or that have been shared with me in the initiation phase, and I'm delivering it, then we might not have any feedback. There will be less of feedback or changes. But if customer, and since we are working in an environment that is known as agile, we'll talk about agile in a while. So I need to understand that there can be some changes that might come, or maybe we are, so agile means your requirements might evolve, or maybe throughout this project life cycle, you decided that you want to add one more functionality. So all of those will be incorporated. So that will be taken care in monitoring and control. So you will take it to the customer will look at the product, they might give you some feedback, they might suggest some changes, or they might give you additional requirement. So all of those changes, feedback will be monitored and captured in change logs. Then you will again go back here in the execution phase. You will develop those changes. They will be tested, and you will again come back to the this phase, and you will get it signed off that this is a working product. Then comes the last part, which is closure. Closure means once we have received a sign off that this is a working product, we are good with it, we'll make it live, or we'll call it go live. So today, go live means that product will go into production. Production means that product is live and it can be used by end users. We'll talk about what is production, what is go live. But for now, today we have discussed few of these new terms. Like go live is there, production is there. We discussed about end users, first cut, final product, validation, bug finding, and source of truth, and many more. Agile, we'll discuss about agile in a while. Let me put it into a different column. So I'll again repeat. So you will have these different phases of the project. Initiation, when you're going to discuss about what are the goals, what are the objectives, challenges. You will gather more information about the project, so you know what needs to be delivered. Then on the planning phase, you will start putting those pieces into a document wherein you can call them a source of truth, evidences. Here you will have BRD, FRD, process diagrams, stories, those will be created. Then in the execution phase, you will start delivering those products. Like you will have development team who will start working on the development, testers will be testing it. Then in MNC, you will take it to the customer and get it reviewed. Reviewed, you will take their feedback and then you will take a sign off. Once sign off is taken, you will, in the closure phase, you will make that product go live. Go live means it is in the production and customer or end users can start using their product. So in simple, okay, before I move forward, I'll take a pause. Any question or any concern from anyone on the first, I mean, on the points that we discussed so far?
Hey Jay, this is Rajdeep. How are you?
I'm doing
Uh,
good. Yes, Rasik.
so Jay, I have a one question. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, like explaining in very detail. So, like in the planning stage, you told we are creating a reference document, which is a BRD. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you also told we also create like FRD also over there. So, what is the
Mm-hmm.
actual like the difference between BRD and FRD? And is the BAs are the one who are going to prepare BRD as well as the FRD, or FRD is prepared by some another team, or how does it? If you can throw some insights on it, thank you.
Okay. So, first thing for deliverables, I have a session wherein I will be discussing it in detail. But for now, I'll give you a quick definition, BRD and FRD. BRD, as the name suggests, business. requirement document, and FRD is functional requirement document, right? So usually BRD comes from the customer side, usually, but sometimes if customer is not preparing it, then I want you to be in a position that you should be able to handle BRD. Now, what is both of the documents? I mean, FRD definitely will be created by business analyst, but BRD can be created by customer. If not, then you should be in a position to create. Now, what BRD says? BRD will give me a high level goals of a project. What are the objective of a project and challenges, pain points, and whatever they're expecting. You can note down here your some dependencies as well and some assumptions that you are taking, right? So when I'm saying goals, objectives, challenges, so I think challenges, pain point are easy to understand. That these are my issues, that these are the problems I'm facing. Goals and objective could be maybe I want to do a cost save. Maybe I want to provide a better customer experience. I want to do a digital transformation, right? Goals, here we will discuss about that what exactly is the vision from this project or from this product. They can mention that maybe I want to create a system of communication channel. It will just talk about the high level vision. When I come to the FRD will tell you the behavior, how that product will be working. For example, this communication channel, I want first thing that I should be able to send messages. I should be able to receive messages, or I should be able to create a group and all of the members should be able to send and receive messages. So in FRD, I am telling you the behavior, the functionalities of a product or a project that I'm going to work on. BRD will give you a very high level things. I hope this is clear. It also gives you as a state and to be state. So today we are doing this, we are expecting this in the future.
Yep,
We'll
got it.
discuss
Thank
more.
you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Any other question from anyone? Okay. Okay, then I think we are good to move to the next part. Okay, now comes this is a regular project. It is not only applicable to, I mean, since we are discussing about service now, so I have picked some IT terms, but this is applicable to any of the field, not IT. It can be, you can apply it on marketing activity or some other uh, domain as well. So let's move towards our third part, which is SDLC. Now here we will completely talk about IT, how softwares are developed, right? So how software is developed and maintained, that will be showcased in SDLC. The main objectives that we want to ensure in SDLC is we want to create a quality product, we want to maintain consistency, and we should be able to trace everything, whatever we are doing. So for that purpose, we have SDLC. Now, here these are the different phases that you will see in SDLC. So I'll have phase one, requirement gathering, phase two, design, phase 3, development, phase 4, testing, phase 5, UAT, phase 6, we'll start moving it into go live, and then comes our phase 7, support, support and maintenance. Now, if I divide it into these phases like requirement gathering, design, development, testing, UAT, go live, support and maintenance. And this is what is mentioned here. Right. Requirement gathering, we have one phase extra. Okay. Analysis. I have provided a detailed level of a detailed level approach. So first part, as I mentioned, requirement gathering is when you will start. I think this is what we have already discussed. Requirement gathering, you will gather requirement as much as possible through different means. How to do it? We'll have one session where we'll discuss about how to gather information, how to gather requirements. Then analysis. Once you have gathered all of those information, you'll start analyzing those documents. Which one is useful, which one is not useful. Then in design phase, you'll create documents. Development, you'll start development, testing, UAT, go live, and support. This support and maintenance means whenever any product that has moved into moved into the production or users have started using it. Support and maintenance means that product might have some issues later on, which usually happens, right? You take any example. Maybe you're taking example of Instagram. So, but today also you will find some glitches, right? Sometimes it is down. So how do we resolve it? For that, you will do you will resolve these issues by support and maintenance team. So you would have seen, or this usually happens with any of the product. Suppose you're buying something, so you will have a help desk who is available depending on the services, sometimes 24/7, sometimes 9 cross 5. 24/7 means 24 hours, 7 days, 9 hours, 5 days, Monday to Friday. So depending on how the services are providing, you will have all of these information, you will have some associates who would be there taking your queries and will provide you a solution. So that happens in support and maintenance. Now, if you look at these different phases, but if I tell you the starting 3 phases, these 3, this is where BA will lead, as in BA will be performing its most of their tasks. And as you move to the next stages, like next phases, phase 4, 5, 6, if I tell you the contribution, I'm providing a rough numbers, right? Suppose here you might be providing in requirement gathering, you will have your 70%. Analysis, you will have around 90%, and here you will have around 80%. And from development testing in here, your responsibility will start reducing. So in this starting phase, you will set the starting point, or you will provide a very good, what should I say, foundation. So you will build so BA will build the foundation of the project. Once you have shown the path, then it will, from here, it is on pilot mode. I mean, you will be there, you will be supporting, you will be helping them, but your responsibilities will be less from here. Testing, UAT, go live, and support and maintenance. So you will be spending most of your time in the initial, or most of the effort would be in the initial phases. From here, this part will be completely dominated by development team. Here we'll have testing team. UAT is user acceptance testing. It means There will be some users from the customer side who will be testing your product. Then in go live, you will help moving the product into the prod and then support and maintenance. It depends on who is going to provide these maintenance. So this is what happens in software development lifecycle. Now, when we are looking at these phases, it is super important for a BA. I can tell you that after each of the phases, like between phase one and phase two, there will be a toll gate. Every two phases, consecutive cases, will have a toll gate. Toll gate means before I move from phase one to phase two, for me, for a BA, it is important to have a sign off. Sign off from whom? Sign off from the customer. You can call it a sign off or you can call it a buy-in. What sign off is required? Suppose you're moving from phase one to phase two, that is analysis. So you need to understand that all the requirements that you have gathered, all the challenges or the objectives, that your customer is also aligned on the same requirements. When you are moving from phase two to phase three, that you will provide this is my analysis. Do you think what is your feedback? Do you want to add anything on top of it? Why it is important for you to have a sign off, buy-in or approval so that whatever I am doing on analysis phase, I should be on the same page that my customer is also known that whatever I have done in the previous phase, he has approved it or he has provided a sign off. If not, then customer would be thinking something else and I would be doing something else. So each phase you would be keeping your stakeholders involved and informed. So two things. First, involved and informed. That I am doing these things and this is what I have done. And that's the I would say that's the identification of a quality business analyst. Because if you're not keeping your stakeholders or your customers involved in these phases, then whatever you are developing or testing here will be of no use. We will be moving in separate direction, north and south. Customer is in north and we are in south. So this is super important for you to ensure that we are taking the tools. Now, now we understood that this is what software development lifecycle is, right? This is how I'm going to deliver my project. Now, there are different ways to deliver a project. If some of you knows about it, there is a waterfall methodology, and in modern days, we are using agile methodology. I can call it, this is uh, classic, and this is modern way. Modern is the latest, which is in trend, and it has been in use for last more than 10 years now. And waterfall, I mean, this SDLC started from waterfall. So before I move forward, have any one of you heard about waterfall or agile? Anyone?
Yeah, little bit of an idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is called how you're going to execute your project. So we'll start with waterfall method. So if I tell you the different phases, phases would be same only. That I'll have requirement gathering, analysis, design, development, but there is a difference how I'm going to deliver my project. In waterfall, what I'm doing, that I'll have the same phases, but it will be a linear and sequential flow. It means that right now, if I'm in requirement gathering, when I'll move to the analysis phase, or from analysis when I move to the design phase, I will not be moving in the backward direction. If I'm in design phase, I cannot again go back to the requirement gathering and take some new requirements. Until unless I have moved to development testing and delivered it, I cannot go back to the requirement. So it will move in the forward direction and sequential manner. Now you will ask like, what's the problem with this approach? That I have some requirements, I have done the analysis, I have done the designing part, there has been some development, there has been some testing, UAT, we have moved it into prod, and it is live. What's the issue with it? Now the issue with it is that when I'm moving from one phase to another and then another phase, maybe when I'm in development phase, I realize that this product could have been better if I would have included more requirements. So basically what I'm saying is if I want to change anything, if I want to improve my product, this change and improve is difficult in waterfall. Or I would say waterfall is better suited for a project wherein I know my input is fixed and also whatever I am expecting, I will call it output is also fixed. That whatever I have discussed that uh, this is what I'm going to develop, this requirements are not going to change. Input means requirements and output means working product. So my requirements are not going to change, then it is waterfall is best suited. And so my working product would be same only. But if I'm working, so when I'm creating a product, even I'm not sure most of the time that I might be changing the product or I might add some new functionalities. So in that case, Agile works well. We'll discuss about Agile, but first let's complete waterfall. So whenever waterfall moves in a linear and sequential flow, my requirements are fixed, and the other part is it is documentation heavy. As in, I'll have lot of documentations starting from requirement gathering till the end of the process. In each phase, I'll have some document to be created. So the flow is like this: requirement, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So the advantages are it has a clear structure and it is documentation heavy. What are the limitations? That this methodology or this model is rigid to changes mid-project. If I want to change anything, then it is difficult. Now, older ServiceNow implementations, waterfall was common. But as and when we started moving to the new phases, to the new implementations, now Agile is dominating. But if we talk about the uh, fundamentals of a project lifecycle, it is still same. That we have these phases only, but the way we deliver it has changed a little bit. We'll discuss about Agile. Now, we'll discuss Agile in next class, but in this class, let's discuss about in a project, you will have different meetings. What all different meetings you will be organizing as a business analyst. The first call is your kickoff call. Now remember these words. Yesterday, I think Ratri was asking, or maybe someone else was asking about the different, or Bhavin was asking this. That how do we talk in the BA's language. So first meeting that you're going to schedule, or maybe your project manager will be scheduling, is kickoff. Kickoff is your introduction call, or it's a call wherein customer will be explaining about that what is they are expecting in the project, what are the different stakeholders, what are the goals, objectives, right? So first meeting is your kickoff. It's an introduction call. It will define scope. So your responsibilities will be to understand the expectation objectives. You will be in a, you will not be in active mode. You will be in the passive listener. You will be listening most of the time. But when I start moving to the next phases, these are kind of different meetings. First is my kickoff, and then let's start moving to the next, which is my discovery calls. What is discovery call? In discovery call, I'll start discover more about the product. How? I'll have some calls with the SMEs, understand process, gather requirements, right? You can call it discovery call or you can call them workshops. So based on the stakeholders that have been informed to be in the starting kickoff call, that these are the stakeholders um, for different work. Maybe for one piece of work, you can reach out to this person. For another product, you can reach out to this person. Then you will be organizing calls. Those can be discovery calls or workshops. In these meetings, you will try to gather information. You will be asking questions. So you will ask questions, you will ask for demos, you will ask for documents, you will understand their as is, you will understand their to be. Right. Now, what all questions you will be asking? I will be helping you if you're working on a ServiceNow implementation, maybe for ITSM. What questions you're going to ask? So we'll discuss about these questions as well. We'll discuss about what is a demo. We'll discuss about what documents you will be asking from them and how to discover, how to analyze their as is and to be state. So the second calls that you will be organizing are discovery calls and workshop calls. Put them here. Then you will have, so these are part of your daily stand-up. Daily stand-up is, so you will have an implementation team as in developers and testers. So you will be having a meeting with them and understanding what they are doing on day-to-day basis. This usually is part of Scrum Master, but we'll discuss about Scrum Master and all of those. So you will be having a daily stand-up call. It's like a 15 minutes call and you just want to understand what our team is working on or which requirement they are working on. So that is my daily stand-up call. After that, I'll have leadership governance meeting. This is where it will be led by your project manager, but you will be there and you will be supporting in case any question is asked. Right, you will present the progress, the risk areas, then you will have approval meetings. This will be led by you. You will have a meeting with the stakeholders, in the initial stakeholders. So I'll mention here the governance meeting, and then you will have approval. In approval meetings, as I mentioned, that whenever you are moving from one phase to another phase, you need to take a sign off on an approval. So you will be keeping your stakeholders involved. You will be mentioning you have completed these activities and please provide your sign off or let us know if you have any feedback for us. So you will keep informing them. So tomorrow, if they have any question that maybe in testing phase, customer cannot come and claim that you have not done this. because you have already taken three approvals. One, two, three. That was we are discussing in each of the phases and we are keeping you informed. This is what we are discussing. If anything is not coming out of the blue or we have not missed anything. So you will be in a better position to defend whatever you're doing. Right. So for that, you will have approval call. In approval call, you might have to showcase documents. You have to showcase whatever you have done. If you have developed something, you will have to showcase your working product, and then you will get a sign. Then comes your UAT sessions. UAT sessions are user acceptance testing, when you will have meetings with the different stakeholders. You will help them. They will be checking your product. They will be testing your product. So not much as you will have to do, but you will be coordinating in UAT meetings. And then there comes the retrospective. Retrospective is basically whenever you have completed something, you want to go back and list and see what things worked for you, what did not work for you, what could have been done better to avoid uh, few things. So these can be work as a lesson learned and for future how you can improve things. So this becomes your different meetings that you will be organizing as a BA. Right. Then, if I can give you a small template that how a project works, or what are the different stakeholders that you will see in a project. So this is your a quick template. This is not applicable right now. I'm only talking in terms of IT. So the examples are from IT, but this can be applicable to non-IT projects as well. For example, I have initiation phase. I want to understand my goal. So I'll have high level scope document. Who are the stakeholders involved? You will have project manager, business sponsors, BA. You will be there for sure. Then you have planning. In that you will have requirement sessions, BRD, process flows. So you will have SMEs, product owners, right? Execution. Here you will be starting with development and testing. So you will have test cases, development. Who are the stakeholders involved? Development team, QA. Then here comes the monitoring, fourth phase, when you will track progress, you will look at the changes that have been made, and you will have project manager and governance team. The last one is the closure, wherein after testing, you will hand over the product. So you will have sign-off document, UAT results, and you will have client and project manager. So these are the stakeholders involved. These are the deliverables. These are key activities and project teams. Now, one more thing that I want to mention is that whenever you start working on a project, there will be a project charter, or you can call it a project, you call it project charter, or you can call it a project plan. Project plan is created. This project plan is usually created by a project manager, which is in sync with customer. This project plan will have these phases, whatever we have discussed here, right? It will have maybe like phase one, then it will have phase two, phase three, phase four, phase five. For now, I'm taking five phases, wherein I'll call it requirement gathering, and then here I'll call it design. Here I'll call it document development. Here I'll call it testing, and then here I'll call it deploy. Right. Now, under these phases, I can define activities like activity one, activity 2, and so on. And here, then I can define my who is the owner of that activity. Then I can provide a reviewer who will be reviewing it and then who will be providing an approval. Or what are the deliverables that are expected from here. So this is what a project plan looks like. And then after then I'll have my dates. Week 1, week 2, week 3, and I'll have something like this. So week 1 I'll do this, week 2 I'll do this, or maybe these activities I'll do in week 2, and then week 3, week 4, and that's how I create a plan that in next 2 weeks or in next 2 months or next 3 months, this is how I'm going to complete a project. So this project plan gives you a very detailed information about how you will be following a project and what all you will be doing. So you will have, so for example, if it is a owner is BA, so you will know that I'll have 1 week to complete my activity. Who is my reviewer, who is going to provide me an approval. So that's how you will move forward. So some projects you will find a very good project plan created. In some project plan is not created, then you will help. I mean, a project manager might take your help to create a project plan and get it approved. So the very first thing that you want to do in a project is after you're having a kickoff call, that you should have a project plan in place so that you can follow a standard path for rest of the duration of the project. So it will be easy for you to complete your work. So this is one thing that I wanted to share that you should know about the project plan. The another thing is we will have different types of projects. Or let me bring it out here. Project types. So what kind of project I'll have? I'll have greenfield implementation. Greenfield implementation means I am implementing from scratch. As in, there is a customer or there is a client called XYZ, and this client does not have ServiceNow ITSM. They have not used ITSM at all. So for them, if they're installing or they're implementing ITSM, so they are doing the greenfield implementation. Right? This is one type of project. The another type of project is enhancement. Enhancement means, now take an example this that this XYZ has implemented ITSM. Now they want to add more features, or maybe they want to enable AI on top of it. They want to bring in some data analytics on it. So that is called an enhancement. Or maybe they want to add an additional feature. So that becomes my enhancement. I want to improve what is already present in my environment. Then I have third type of project which is known as migration. Migration means that I have ITSM, but it is not ServiceNow ITSM. It is BMC. Now I want to move from BMC to ServiceNow ITSM. Right. So I am migrating all of this data into ServiceNow ITSM, and from there on, I want to start using ServiceNow ITSM. That is migration project. Another type is support. Support project, or you can call it AMS, or let's keep it support only. Support means this ServiceNow ITSM is created. I do not want to enhance anything, but if there is any issue, if there is any defect, if there is any concern, or if something is not working, then to fix that problem, I'll have a team who will be working on support teams. Usually this support comes after you have implemented ServiceNow. So usually you will, and then comes the last part, which is upgradation. Upgradation means the way, I mean, if I tell you a layman term, like we have our mobile phones, right? Or we have our laptops. So we know that after every 6 months, all of these mobile phones or laptops, their OS would be upgrading from one version to another version. Similarly, ServiceNow also has new upgrades. After 6 months, they will have new release. So in release or in upgradation, you move from one release to another release. What happens in a release, what happens in the upgradation, we'll discuss. But for now, we have these different types of project. Now, this project will be delivered, will have these phases, and this will be delivered. I'll take a pause now. Greenfield implementation, enhancement, migration, support, upgradation, and let me take a recap. So we started with understanding what is a project. We discussed about life cycle. We discussed about what is a project. We discussed about what is a life cycle. We also discussed in terms of software how software development life cycle works. Right. So we've discussed about these different phases. On a very high level, initiation, planning, execution, maintain, monitoring and control, and closure. In each phases, what we are going to do. Then we discussed about phases in actual SDLC and where BA will be contributing more. After then, we looked at the different meetings a BA will be holding. And one of the way of delivering this project is waterfall. There is one more way, agile. Agile we will be discussing it tomorrow. Then we discussed about a project plan, how a project plan is created. What are the different columns in a project plan, different phases, and how it is delivered in week by week, week on week. Then we discussed about project types. We have greenfield, enhancement, migration, support, and application. Okay, I have completed for today's class. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me see if I have something here. Hold on there.
I have a
Have,
quick question.
sorry.
No question. Yes, Pawan, you want to ask anything?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So
Yes, please.
now we have discussed about all this, the process, right? So like, is there anywhere so far, whatever wherever we discussed,
Mhm.
is there anywhere we will be using service now?
Yes, yes, we will be using service now. So I'll explain. So as I mentioned that right now we are doing, we are understanding BA role, right? What BA would be doing. So I have around, not around, I have only 6 classes. So after we have finished, like after 2 weeks, we will move into service now. Where in service now, you will have your, you can call it a sandbox. You will have a sandbox. You will have your account created, and you will start practicing all of the different parts in sandbox. Like if it has,
Okay, once we get there, maybe like I'll have a better understanding. Like,
correct. So once we'll create our account, then we'll discuss about ServiceNow. Even in ServiceNow, I will not be starting with the working of it. First, I'll help you with how to create account, how to navigate in ServiceNow, Any term that you will see in ServiceNow, we'll discuss everything. Suppose this is your UI. If here's something written in ServiceNow, why it is written in ServiceNow? We will be discussing in detail. If there is a profile page here, what is the meaning of that profile page? We'll discuss each of those things. Then only we'll start working on the different product in ServiceNow, like IT SML. Any other question from anyone?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so like you explained that waterfall is more like sequential and linear, right? If you go up, if you could scroll up a little bit.
Here.
Yes, yes. And once we hop into the next step, we won't be able to go back because of its nature, right?
Right.
My question is like, don't you think is the same when it comes down to agile as well? Wherein you mentioned that there is always a sign off after each and every phase. And once we are done signing off from
Mhm.
from for that specific phase, we can go back or so that's why I'm confused, like how it's different than one another.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll discuss. So the difference between waterfall and agile is, since we have not discussed agile right now, so maybe there are some pieces which are missing. But what I can tell you in short is, in waterfall, this is your project. Understand, this is my complete project, and these are different phases. One part, second part, third part. This is my fourth part, and part five. So I've divided all of my project into five parts. Now, what happens between waterfall and agile? In waterfall, I will be delivering everything in single go, and there is no scope that I will change anything. So suppose I'm telling you this the completion of this project might take 5 months. So customer will be able to see the working product only in the fourth month when we are in the testing phase. Now, what happens in agile? I will break down my project into smaller pieces, and I will deliver my project into sprints. The duration of a sprint is usually between 2 to 4 weeks, maximum 1 month. 2 to 4 weeks, right? So what I'll do, maybe I've taken a smaller piece, this one, and then I'm delivering it. Now, when I'm delivering it, maybe a customer is coming and says that, of course, there is an agreement that we have decided that this is what I'm going to deliver. But in between, customer comes and says that I want to involve something. I want to include something. So first, you will see whether you can include it in the current sprint. If not, then you will prioritize. There is a word that new words will be coming up. Something known as prioritization. That if additional work is coming, how do you prioritize it? But all of these, then what you will do, maybe in the next sprint, you can involve something, or maybe something which is not important, you can push it back to the next release. But since we have divided our project into smaller pieces, now even if it is taking more than 5 months, maybe 6 months, you have a rationale that why we need additional month, because customer has come up with a new requirement. First thing, you are able to incorporate it into your current project. Second, even if it is taking more time, you have a valid reason. But we do not have such arrangement in waterfall. We'll discuss agile in detail. That is my next class. Agile and Scrum framework. Hope you have some idea about what is the difference between waterfall and agile.
Yes, Jay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you so very much for the lectures. It's very exciting. when you looked at some of these phase one, phase two, phase three in
Mhm.
the development life cycle, do you
Mhm.
have a more detailed uh, documentation where we can actually understand some of these ones? Like you talked about testing. In this
Mhm.
course of this training, will we have the opportunity of seeing how testing are actually done? Or have you just covered everything about testing? Do we have documents we can look at after this training to be able to understand more on it? It's my first question. Then my second question is, you talked about different kind of projects, talk about implementation, enhancement, integration, support, and upgrading. Upgrade, okay? Then my question
Mhm.
is enhancement and upgrading not the same thing?
Enhancement and upgradation are not same. Okay.
Enhancement, you want to enhance. You give example with maybe an application and you want to enhance
Mhm.
it. Is it not the same thing as in upgrading it?
Okay. Okay. So I'll start with the second question first. Enhancement
Okay,
and upgradation are different things.
okay,
Upgradation, when I say, it means releases. Release means, for example, if I talk about Android phone, right? So I think they were following this letters A, B, C, D, right? I think they were
mhm,
right now at oxygen. So you will see that you will get a prompt message that today your mobile phone will be upgraded to a new version. Now you
mhm,
remember upgrade. So you're moving from one release to another release. Now, since in Android we might not see much changes because that's a very small scope. But when we talk about uh, a system here, so what happens that as you see that technology is changing day by day, there are new features coming up. 3 years back it was Gen AI, which was in boom. Right now it's agentic AI. So one way is that I shut down everything and start creating from scratch. The another way is whatever I have done, I start tweaking those things and bringing these latest trends. So in upgradation, what I do, whatever I have, I start optimizing it and I'll give new features on top of it. That is agent, maybe whatever is going on. So in upgradation, I move to those new versions. When I say enhancement, enhancement means suppose I have a form, intake form, admission intake form. So you are taking admission in a college and there is a form. In that form, I have right now 7 fields that I'm asking about from a person. There may be name and previous college and your address, or maybe 4 fields more. But now when I started working on it, I realized that I need 5 more fields to be added on input form. So that is enhancement I am making to the already one. It is nowhere related to this upgradation. Or maybe today I am doing it through manually I am taking input. Tomorrow I want to fetch these details from somewhere else automatically. Again, it is not related to upgradation. In upgradation, it's a package that I'm moving from one version to another version. Hope this is clear,
it's
Emmanuel.
clear, it's clear.
Okay. Now, if I go back to the first question wherein you were asking about document and reference doc, definitely by end of this phase. So what I've decided that I will be sharing reference document by end of the phase, not in the starting. Because if I share in the starting, you will start reading it and then you might confuse yourself. So first, I want you to follow me. Then you will be given a reference document about the complete training that we have done for that particular phase. Second, I will be sharing documentation. This documentation is basically a deliverable for BA. like as discussed, BRD, FRD, RT, and process diagram. We will learn how to create process diagram. We will learn how to create BRD and FRD, and also at the same time, testing as well. So I'll share one document testing. There will be one example given. So tomorrow, if your team has to write test cases, you will know you can provide that documentation. I'll also tell you that first I'll give you my documents. Second, I'll also give you the methods by which you can use your project documentation and also the standard documents. So you will have ample options to choose whatever works for you. So both of them will be shared with you, remember. Okay. Any other question?
This is
I
fine.
see
I truly
something inside.
appreciate well.
You're welcome. We'll cover you from all the different sides or whatever questions you will be having. So be assured that we are covering most of the things. If something is not covering, you let us know. We'll work on that part as well. Okay. If we do not have any question, I'll pass it on to Sudesh. Sudesh, do you want to share anything?
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Thank you, Jay, for the wonderful session. And for the new guys, I want to let you know that before we get into IT, it's very important for us to understand software development lifecycle. In ServiceNow, most of the projects are in Scrum framework. Okay, and it's important for us to understand the difference between waterfall, hybrid, and Scrum framework. Okay, these are very, very important. And are you guys able to hear me? Am I audible? Okay,
Yes.
cool. So the
Yes.
first
Yes, Sudesh.
thing to become consultant is to understand uh, our delivery framework. Okay, what is the framework are we using? What kind of software development cycle are we using? We need to be very, very thorough with that. Okay, becoming a BA, you are preparing for a job over here. ServiceNow is a technology we're going to specialize, but the role what we're going to do is a BA role. So it's very important for us to understand the BA deliverables. What is your deliverable at the inception stage? What do you deliver at a planning stage? What do you do at a design phase? What do you do at a development phase? So how are you supporting at a testing phase? How are you supporting during deployment? Okay, at a production in a prod environment. Okay, so we need to understand our role in different stages of software development lifecycle, and that's very, very important because each of the stages BAs have different things to do. BAs are like a star of the project. They are the go-to people folks count on. We have a very important role to play. This role comes with a lot of responsibility, okay, a lot of engagement, okay. So it's very important for you to understand the BA role, your deliverables, your documentations, and how are you going to conduct your job, how do you engage with your team, and how do you document your requirements, how do you document your acceptance criteria, and how do you deliver those requirements to your developers, how do you help your testers, and again after production deployment, how do you engage with your client with support, right? So we're talking about support projects and implementation projects here. In ServiceNow projects, you will continue to learn all those things. We're discussing at a very high level right now because we don't want to go deep dive and overwhelm you, because when it comes to training, it's important that to start learning in small chunks, and once you start processing information, we can go into more depth. Does it make sense, guys? What do you think? Chiquita, Emmanuel, Esther, Anisha, Harpreet,
Yes,
does
it
it make
makes
sense?
sense.
We can take you into 20 feet of swimming pool right away. We can do that, right? But we want you to see how you swim in 3 feet. We want to see how you do in 5 feet, 7 feet, and then we'll slowly go into depth at 20 feet, and you guys will know how to float, right? So it's a process, guys. We know what we're doing. Okay, I want you guys to trust the process. Okay, first learn the BA properly, and I can tell you that our trainings are very high quality training. There is no match. I do not know anybody else who can train like Jay. The details what we're giving is through a consultant who's a working consultant, right? So ServiceNow is a fast evolving product. There are 2 modules coming in every year, new enhancements coming in twice a year. So you need to learn from a consultant who is at a working, right? So you're in a good place. I am very excited for you. In tomorrow's sessions, we will discuss about what are the various services we offer as a team. Okay, we will discuss through that. Tomorrow is Friday. I know you can chill out, but I want you guys to be here. Okay, we're going to hustle for another few more months, and then we're going to crack into a big job. Okay, guys, we cannot achieve big things without sacrifice. Okay, you guys can chill out on Saturday, but I want you guys tomorrow at Friday evening. Tomorrow is serious business. We're going to talk some very critical things, and I'm sure you don't want to miss out. Okay, you guys been such a great crowd, and I see that you guys are fired up, and we are fired up to make sure that you guys get into this dream job. Okay, and thank you all. It's the same meeting link. See you all tomorrow evening at 8:30 p.m. Thank you, Jay, once again for your wonderful training. See you all back tomorrow. Have you guys a great night. See you all tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sudesh. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Good night.